Hello everybody, I'm Chris Provost from Provost Park Pass, and we have a lot of information about transportation that's happening during the pandemic at Walt Disney World. Things are a-changing. But before we get to that, would you kindly go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell? That way, every time we get breaking news, you will be the first to know what's going on in the world of Disney. I need to start this video by first talking to my friends that go to Disneyland, whose our primary park is Disneyland, because it is so different from the ones in Florida. I had no idea how big parks were when I went there the very first time. Going to the Magic Kingdom, my mind was blown, right? For those of you in Florida, let me explain what's like going to Disneyland. If you're in Disneyland and you're with your buddy and you're like, hey, do you want to go to lunch in Disney California Adventure today? You're like, sure. You literally just walk across the park and you go have lunch there. You're like, let's go back and ride the Matterhorn. You walk across the park. How close are the parks? Well, you can stand at the gate of Disneyland, and if you're good at throwing a Frisbee, you could hit Disney California Adventure easy. No problem at all. That's how close the parks are. I'm not even kidding. Now, for my friends who are their home park is Disneyland, that is not the case in Florida. When you are in Florida, the hotels, the resorts, they're all spread apart, and getting around is quite an effort. There's a lot of transportation things, a way to move you from one area to another area. You can't just usually walk it. It's considerable. And because of the things that are happening, Disney has to take into effect all these transportation methods in Florida. So let's start to review them because things will be changing. First off, here we go. The monorail. Let's talk about the monorail. Now, for those fans of Disneyland, let me explain this to you for those who go to Florida. Disneyland's monorail is an attraction. It's a closed loop. You get on it in Tomorrowland, you go to downtown Disney, you can get off or stay on, and then it takes you back to Tomorrowland. That's it. There's no other stops. It's an attraction. It has a row in the middle of the seat, so everybody sits down. There is no standing on the monorail. The windows are kind of open and cracked. There's a little announcements going on. It's very relaxing. It's kind of relax and ride it as an attraction. Well, in Florida, it's not like that at all. In Florida, the monorail is massive, and there's different lines. It's like the L train in Chicago, or the subway in New York, or the metro in DC. There is no middle row. People stand on the monorail. It's truly moving people from the hotels to the parks and back, and there's different lines going. It is a way to move people, truly moving people, the monorail. Because of that, though, they're going to be changing things in Florida when the monorail reopens. Right now, the monorail, the maximum capacity is around 300 guests per train. That's going to be lowered down to between 75 and 100 people per train. They're only going to allow one party per door. So when the doors open up, only one family or one party can get in that particular door. So let's say it's just me and Amanda. Only the two of us can go through that door. They will not commingle, cross-pollinate, mix up different groups of people. They're not going to be doing that. It's just your party getting in that particular door. So if you have a small party, it's just you. That's it. That's how it's going to be on the monorail. So the maximum capacity now is estimating is going to be between 75 to 100 people per monorail, which is a significant cut. Also in Florida, they have things called ferry boats. And for those of you in Disneyland, they're like, ferry boats? Are you talking like the Mark Twain? No, we're not talking about Mark Twain. We're talking there's actually ferry boats that will transport people from like hotels to the parks and back because it's massive. Now, the ferry boats, their maximum capacity is about 600 people. They are going to be reducing that down to 200 people, and there will be designated dots for families or the parties to stand on when you get in on a ferry boat, and you'll have to stay in that particular area, and then it'll take you over there. So about 200 people per ferry boat, and you'll have a designated like little dot to be standing on. Okay, gondolas. The gondolas or the skyways that take you around will be limited to one gondola per party. So if there's only two people can get in that and zip along the way. They will no longer commingle parties anymore on a gondola. All right. Now there's also a thing there they have what's called a friendship. I like that, friendship. That's like a little boat. This is down like Epcot. These are like little boats that take you right from the hotel to a park. Nothing's been said yet about the friendships. I don't know anything about friendships. Now let's get to buses. Woo! Buses is probably the main way to do transportation down there at Magic Kingdom, Florida. And there is a lot of buses and things are changing for the bus routes. I've got tons of notes here. So let's get through how you'll be riding buses at the resort with everything that's going on. Bus drivers, when they come back to work, each bus driver is going to be given from costuming, they'll be given 3 cloth masks that they can wear. And they'll be able to rotate and wash those and have those, but they will be required to wear those masks. If they don't want to wear a cloth mask, the bus drivers then can use a disposable mask if they want to, but they will be giving these masks. They will also be given like glasses to wear for protection as well. They'll have these glasses. The bus drivers will also be having clipped on their belt hand sanitizer. They'll be refillable that they'll have on with them at all times as they're driving the buses. Now, the buses, when the driver gets to the bus, the very first driver, his job, he will do a walk around the bus, and then he's going to spray this. Each of these buses will have this spray bottle sanitizing, and it's called a no-touch spray. That means they just spray everything down. They don't have to wipe it down. The spray just, where it touches, it kills everything on it. They will spray down the bus. The first driver of the day will then spray down that bus and make sure that everything is sprayed down. No wiping is required. Prior to a bus driver coming to work, they will have to each bus driver will be given their own digital thermometer. So before they come to work, they have to do their temperature. And then once they get to work, somebody else will do their temperature, and they'll have to do a 3-question health questionnaire and answer that before they can go to work to make sure that people are safe. Now, what about riding on the buses? The buses then are going to be divided into 6 zones, and they'll be screened. They'll have partitions like this, plastic partition screening these 6 zones. Only 1 party per zone. Now, the maximum capacity of a bus is about 60 guests, and that has standing room only, people standing, 60 people per bus. That's going to be reduced. The maximum amount of people they will allow on a bus now will be 25, but they think the average is going to be between about 16 to 18 people per bus. So, if I was to get on, if Amanda and I were to get on a zone, one of those 6 zones, only Amanda and I could be in that one zone. They're not going to have commingling of parties on the zones either per the bus. So this is going to reduce capacity. For the guests who have those elected, the EVCs or maybe like disability, like a wheelchair, those they have their own zones as well. Those would be in the middle, but they'll only have allow one per bus, I think, at this time to get on. They can't have different parties. So if you have the same party that has 2 people in wheelchairs, that's gonna be fine, but they're not gonna allow 2 people from different parties in wheelchairs to both be have their wheelchairs strapped down in that particular area. No cross mingling of parties. Okay. During the ride, the bus's vents, they have vents across the top. Those will be required to be open unless it is raining to get more ventilation going into the bus. Also, the driver windows will probably be open as well as they're driving along to have more ventilation within the bus. This is also interesting. At every stop the bus comes to, the bus will stop. Both doors, you can get in and off on both doors, but the doors will remain open and the bus will remain stationary for 4 minutes at each stop. So the bus will come in, open up the doors, people get on and off, and then the doors will remain open for 4 minutes to get more ventilation within the bus. That's something they'll be doing that's kind of new. So it's not going to be going quite as fast as it used to. They'll be waiting for 4 minutes, and then after 4 minutes, they will close the doors and then go to the next stop where they'll redo that whole procedure again. With the bus stops. See here. When a new bus driver gets on, the new bus driver will same thing. They will do a walk around the bus and they'll spray everything down again. When the new bus driver comes on a shift, they'll spray everything down again. The bus drivers are required, if they do end up helping assisting somebody onto a bus, they will have to sanitize their hands immediately afterwards as well for their own safety and for everybody else's safety as well. So, I mean, that's a lot of things that are going on in those buses there. It is a crazy time, but this is what they're trying to do to promote social distancing within the parks and the transportation, and is a massive endeavor that they have to do at Walt Disney World because so many things are happening right there. It's kind of crazy. Now, I have a question for you. How do you guys feel about these changes? What's going on? What's your mind? Would you be there on July 11th on opening day? How do you feel about this? This is going to make getting to the park a little bit slower. The monorails, the ships, the buses will not be operating near capacity. They'll be operating about a third of their capacity before. So it's going to take a little bit longer to get into the park and to get back to your hotel or resort when you're traveling. So you'll want to take that in consideration when you go to the parks coming up here, because it's going to take a little bit longer. It's just going to take, that's how it is. For example, on the bus with 6 zones, if there was 6 parties and each party only had 2 people, that bus would be maxed out at 12 people, and that is it. And then that bus is gone, and then the next bus will be coming. So it's different. It's a different world that we live in. I want to know how you guys are doing. Make sure you guys keep your chins up. I hope you're having a positive week. And be positive, be kind out there to everybody. Would you go on opening day? How do you feel about this? Would you ride the gondola? Would you ride the buses? Would you ride the boats, the ferries? Would you ride the monorail? This is way different than what I'm used to because I'm used to Disneyland where we just have the monorail and that's just an attraction. So Florida, wow, you guys have got a lot going on there. Well, you guys have a happy, great week. Oh, and by the way, if you want, we just did a video about Bryce Canyon, the real Bryce Canyon, Secrets Revealed, the inspiration for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. And if you want, you go ahead and check this channel right here where my wife just did some behind the scenes stuff about what's happening in Bryce Canyon. We should vlog some stuff there. So if you want to see that. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Subscribe.